Imagine you're working the night shift at a gas station, alone, being dropped off, having no car to escape if something goes wrong. The night is clear, with only the sounds of insects buzzing in the background. You head inside and find your co-worker just to have them say the phone doesn't work and the outside toilet key is missing. After clocking in, your co-worker leaves as his shift is now over. Working alone, you finish the task of putting away the items back to the shelves and sweeping the floor, serving customers along the way. But one customer stands out, giving you an unsettling feeling, asking if we're working alone, replying,
"No, my coworker's in the back."
He wanders the aisles and eventually grabs a beer. Without any words said, he pays and then leaves, having a strange white van almost stalk you throughout the night. But before we can check the security cameras, we notice the back door is wide open. Walking around the corner, we see the toilet door is also open. Looking around, there's nobody in sight. Stepping inside, we get ambushed by a masked individual and are taken away to never be heard from again. So that's the night shift, the intro to Puppet Combo's Stay Out of the House. While playing the night shift, you can even play Puppet Combo's arcade version of Power Drill Massacre to pass the time. I'm guessing the person we're playing as forgot to bring their earphones and left them at home. SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward. This part of the game shows a lot about what it's like to work at a gas station, with nothing to do most of the time until customers finally arrive, and to have a strange feeling every time someone drives in but doesn't stop their car. And with strange customers, it can make it feel even more unsafe. When the third person walks in, they ask if we're working alone, and if you're anything like me, you say we are working alone, expecting something to happen only to be met with the same outcome as if we said no, there's a co-worker out back, being almost a red herring. But being taken by the masked killer, we open our eyes and find ourselves playing as a new character, Roxanne. Being on a long car trip, we daze in and out only to find our partner had to use the restroom only to never come back. So getting out of the car, we go to investigate. Heading inside and passing through, we find his license. Silly, we can't drive without this. I better go tell him he dropped it. Also finding someone's luggage. Passing through the tall grass, we find a mill with a note, having someone say they died from cancer thought to be from radiation, and that they had to close down the whole operation of work here. But before we can dwell on what the note said, we find a little dog coming up to us wanting to follow us around. Along the way, we find more luggage and items left behind. Finding a crop field, we see a church and a house in the distance. Adventuring on inside the maze-like field, we end up inside the abandoned church, finding out about a cult-like membership the church was holding. But heading on, we find ourselves in front of the house, but there's a problem. The dog doesn't like what's inside, even growling at the front door. I myself didn't want to die, so I looked around in hopes that there'd be an alternate route, perhaps a way that would let me live happily. Okay, fine, I'll go inside. But not before the dog charges in, just to be heard whimpering inside. Now it's our job to save Mr. Muffins. Did I name him just now to give him more importance to save him? Yes I did. Otherwise, if I didn't, his name would just be Dog.
You look like a good Joe.
Passing the decrepit attire of the house, we head down into the basement and free our little buddy from a bear trap, just to have him loudly bark and run off to the front door. But as we reach the door, it's locked. Panically searching for another escape, we are caught by the masked man. But we're still alive. We find ourselves being trapped inside the same type of cage that the driller killer put Megan in another Puppet Combo game. But with plot armor on our side, we free ourselves because the cage just so happened to be broken. Thankfully leaving the cage, as if we would have stayed inside, the TV would have gotten a free kill. The TV is playing some sort of speech from a sermon, but listening to it for too long, it eventually kills you. Well, it makes you pass out and then you're taken to be killed. It's the same thing. Leaving, we learn that Roxanne is dealing with intense stomach pain. When I first played this, I was so confused. I just thought she was suffering from like migraines or something, not really realizing what was happening. But carefully searching around as to not make any noise, we can search cabinets and drawers very similar to another Puppet Combo game, Nun Massacre. In fact, the puzzles are extremely similar and give you a massive advantage if you've already played Nun Massacre. With the classic lighter helping us find more items, we can get more tools to advance our way through the house, all while avoiding him. This is the night shift abductor, or in this case, the butcher. Kidnapping 6 individual people and knowing the situation we're in, I'd assume he's not wanting to sit down and have a chat with us. Finding a screwdriver, we're able to climb our way through the vent, being one of the only safe areas in the game, other than the actual safe room, being where you save the game, using VHS tapes found around the house. But unlike Nun Massacre, the vents are too small for the butcher to fit inside, so we can just hide in there and we'll be fine, right? Well, instead of crawling inside and killing us that way, he'll instead attempt to gas you out, using mustard gas to force you to leave the vent, and camping any side that he thinks you'll come out from, only being able to go back in the vents once you press the button to turn off the gas. And like Non-Massacre, you can also find the radar. And much like in Non-Massacre, I didn't really use it here either. It's not a bad item, it's actually quite useful if you're worried about moving around the house, giving you more confidence that he's not close. But the reason I didn't use it is it's so loud. When you bring it out, it feels like my ears are about to start bleeding. The high-pitched ring sound is so painful to listen to every time you want to bring this item out. And honestly, the game is pretty good with its sounds from the butcher. It makes enough noise to the point where he only got the jump on me once. But passing through the vent, we see the butcher cutting up large chunks of meat. And from my guess, I think if we stick around here, we might be on the menu next. So exploring more, we find the house has security cameras alerting the killer if it spots us. And if that's not bad enough, there's also Granny, screaming if she sees you, alerting the butcher of your location.
No, wait.
But fear not, for I have a gun.
Well. How the turntables...
On my playthrough, I found a gun, and let me tell you, the chance to take a small amount of revenge, it was too hard not to take the shot. We found the gun next to someone who was locked up in an upstairs room and was beaten by the butcher with a hammer, telling us about the butcher's almost superhuman strength, saying that he also doesn't seem very smart, reminding me a lot of Leatherface from the movie Chainsaw Massacre, having the killer be hidden behind a mask of sorts and both having furniture made from human skin. But the butcher, instead of being sort of cowardly like Leatherface, seems a lot more hostile. I mean, I don't blame him. I shot his grandma in the face while she was watching TV. I wonder what she was watching. When I played Stay Out of the House, I didn't know anything about the game, and so coming into it blind, it made it a lot harder. Not knowing anything about the layout, the puzzles, or even what I was really doing there, other than trying to egress.
What's egress mean?
Exit.
And I feel that's the best way to play this game, making you feel much more dreadful not knowing why he's really doing this to us. But learning why he's doing this while playing makes it much more creepy. After exploring around the house and solving puzzles, we climb our way through another vent. But this time we find Brandon, tied up to a chair and being taunted by the butcher. But this time he's got a chainsaw, and then... Nah, if I'm in his situation, I'm gonna be like, "Do it, motherfucker! Do it! Do it already!" Brendan is now dead, only being killed a few meters away, and all we could do was watch as Rachel's partner was brutally murdered. However, now we're able to go up into the attic, but not before getting caught and getting stuck inside him while we get beaten to death. I got...
I hate this red thing. I spit on you.
With 2 days left, we glitched the game by putting a bookshelf over a pit of barbed wire and used that to jump over to the other side, not realizing that you could just run and jump and you can make it over without any stress. And while writing this script, I found out that you're actually meant to use a plank of wood inside a parked van. I don't know how I managed to do something wrong twice and both times it worked out. That's some next level dumb luck. I must have the same plot armor as Roxanne do. Heading deeper into the attic, we eventually find ourselves outside, but this time we're in the backyard, and unfortunately we can't escape yet. But searching the yard, we can find cages like the ones we were trapped in, and some of them containing people. We can interact with them. If you have a paperclip and a hex key, you can attempt to save them.
You know, the thing that's all like...
But if you're like me, you still don't know how to use them properly and fail to open your first door, which so happens to be the only paperclip you had left. So, sorry everyone. Better luck in the next life, I guess.
Cool. I really hurt my finger doing that paperclip bit.
Yeah, no.
On another playthrough, I managed to save someone, bringing them with you and taking them into the safe room. They will share information about themselves and how they ended up here, having one say that he thinks the main door key is hidden somewhere inside the kitchen, and that he thinks the killer is some sort of cultist, and that's why he thinks the butcher is playing the sermon speech on the TV scattered around the house, saying it's his job to cultivate human flesh and that's why he's kidnapping and sacrificing people. Having people that come to the town tend to go missing, also learning that this could be some sort of government test site, and you get a little achievement for saving them too. Out in the yard, you can find a shed and a well. Getting some duct tape and a valve, using these items can help you get different endings. On my run, I ended up using the valve as I didn't know the duct tape was even an item leading towards another ending. Now what if I told you there were actually 4 endings to the game, with rebirth, escape, mother, and brain, plus the different ways to die adding even more endings to the game. But who would be silly enough to die in this game? Ooh, I wonder where this tunnel goes. The ending I got on my first playthrough is probably the hardest ending to get, needing to not only clear the house but to also figure out the bunker code, without any help because I didn't have any paper clips to get the hint from the survivors. Brain blasting the code, making your way through the bunker, draining an entire floor, get a hard disk and swap it with another one, dry it off, hack a computer, pass through a nuclear testing site, find 2 keys, put in the code to force a nuclear shutdown, try to escape just to die because you didn't know where to go. What you're meant to do is kite the killer holding a chainsaw around the room while spam clicking the broken support beams, and after clicking enough times you can free yourself from this hellish nightmare. Or so I thought. As we awake inside a medical room with a nurse and a doctor looking over us. In this moment I deadass thought they were just going to say this is all in the head, but awaking again later on, we throw up blood only to have the parasite living inside us come out too. How lovely. Awaking again, we wander the hospital covered in demon eggs and pulsating sacs, and walk outside through the front doors. The end. Yep, that's the mother ending. When I played this, I didn't know what was going on. But after finishing the game over a few playthroughs, I found out the pain Roxanne experiences throughout the game was her actually being infested with a parasite, even being the name of an ending's achievement. And when she throws up blood at the end, it could be the creature wanting to escape. And her throwing up the parasite in the hospital, she unknowingly infects everyone around her, dooming them. But while inside the bunker, if you go down the bottom floor, there's a strange tunnel, and walking down it, piles of meat can be found. But walking more, the butcher finds you and offers you to, this thing, giving you the rebirth ending. This creature is the reason you're stuck here and why many people have been taken. However, using the tape we find in the shed in the attic, we find an exposed wire, and taping it up, we can use a switch, giving us a battery from a ceiling fan. I actually did this on my playthrough, but without any knowledge on what to do with the batteries, as I didn't save any of the survivors, I didn't use it. But finding all 3 batteries, we can place them inside a can opener, and getting the can, we can use it on the can opener, because it's a can. Once the can is open, we find the front door key. We sneak our way through to the front door. But as we're about to leave, the butcher manages to find us and gets the jump on Roxanne. Wielding a chainsaw ready to chop us up, we run. Being only milliseconds away from death, one misstep and it's all over. But as we're running, we find a trailer park. Going to the only van with lights on, we ask for help, only for it to be the strange man from the night shift. He invites Roxanne in, but she can't seem to handle the pain, only to have her vomit blood and a parasite crawls out of her mouth and jumps at the stranger, giving you the escape ending. And I just wanted to mention, Blindfire did a video on this game too, giving another barrier breach video, and in that video he shows this angle of the parasite, and having Roxanne not even having a character model the whole time.
There's a little fella on this.
While searching the house, the butcher will be able to hit you, making you unconscious, with the first time awakening inside another cage with more TV surrounding us, even having the baby watching over you through a vent. Getting caught again and you'll be strapped down on a medical bed forced into watching the TV. Or if you die in the bunker, you'll instead be taken to the caged pigs. And if you get found one last time, he'll take you to the tunnels and bring you to be sacrificed. Hence the ending being called Sacrifice. And if you didn't want to go through all that trouble and just want to feed our demonic overlord, well, then just watch the TV for too long and all those pesky thoughts and duties of living will just fly away. Inside the house, there are 4 hostiles residing there. The first being the butcher and then the grandma. Both patrolling the halls, and if they find you, will either attempt to capture you or will scream, letting the other know your location. With the grandma being easily killed with one shot of the revolver and the butcher running away after a few shots are fired at him. However, killing the granny, the butcher goes into a frenzy, trying his hardest to kill you. Little does he know, I have the power of vents on my side. Aside from them, inside the vents we can find a baby. I tried shooting them, but nothing happened to it. And not only that, but the butcher also heard my shot, alerting him to my whereabouts. I'm not sure what this thing really does. It's kind of chill. It attacked my shins at one point, but other than that, it really wasn't that much of a bother. And if you're in the attic and use the bookshelf to climb up a cabinet, instead of trying to bug out the game with the barbed wire, you can find your way into the baby's room and find the final part of the camera, allowing you to take some snazzy photos. And lastly, the dog. It apparently can't see very well, but I didn't really know much about it, as the first time I came in contact with it, I dumped every shot into it. Look, it's not my fault you scared me. Maybe next time don't scare someone that's holding a fully loaded revolver, okay? Okay. The butcher himself wasn't always a killer like this. Finding notes around the house, we learned that he was indoctrinated into the cult, as he grew tired for waiting for a response from God, tired of never getting rewards and answers, as he was brought up to be a Christian and a regular churchgoer. The cult growing influence in the local area, it forced away the locals and even the members of the church and its minister. In the note, it reads that the meat is a lot easier to find, and that it's guiding him. He can feel its call. It's ready for fresher offerings, saying that it helps helped him see and feel, and it's showing him truth. With the more flesh he brings it, the more it will grow, even saying that he's doing a divine task, believing that we are coming closer to true salvation. Originally feeding the demonic being homeless people, it then needed people with more to lose, people with more fear and distress. Crazy to say that homeless people aren't important, but alright. And in that moment, he became the night shift abductor, stalking them and then kidnapping them, keeping them for days, allowing their fear and stress to marinate, only to kill them and then feed their remains to the hellish being hidden away in the bunker. Something I noticed while playing is the bunker has 3 letters on one of its walls, CFV, standing for the Church of the Father's Vision, the same name on the pamphlet you can find in the game. But the reason I bring this up is in Nun Massacre, the same letters can be found on the TVs there as well, making me wonder if the nun is also under the same influence or is a being of the CFV. But without anything confirmed, we're just going to have to wait for Puppet Combo's next game. Another thing I wanted to mention was this part of the map. When I played this game, I wasn't able to find this area, and that's because it can't be found by normal means. I only found out this area existed because of a video Blindfire made showing off all the areas of the map. But I think it's a bit weird that Puppet Combo went through all the trouble of making another part of the game only to make it so you can't go there. I could have seen this being accessible by going through the tunnels, and maybe that's what Puppet Combo wanted to do, but maybe they just didn't think it was worth adding in. Still cool though. And gross. I'm a really big fan of this room. Having people in an almost breeding room for the demonic creature, it really grosses me out. I just wanted to say a little thank you to everyone for subscribing. I really wasn't expecting to get 1,000 subscribers so quickly. And by the time I'm making this video, I'm closer to 2,000 subs, which is insane to me. Editor me here. We did actually get over 2,000 subs, so thank you so much for that. I'm really heartwarmed that people actually want to watch my stuff. It really means a lot. I was thinking about making a video on mouthwashing next, and then maybe a Fears to Fathom video. But if you have anything else you'd like to see for a video, be sure to tell me in the comments. Thanks again. See ya. Mwah.